This is your Solana Daily News. It's the 31st of May. Let's just dive straight in. I'm going to try and make this quite a fast one today because there's not a crazy amount of news, but basically prices are fairly, in a sideways kind of crab pattern, which is to be expected. There will be some things popping off, of course. Nothing really in the top 100 necessarily. Pepe is doing well, and meme coins are still getting a decent amount of attention. But in terms of just Solana, as a thing that we generally like to hold, this is just pretty much just a stable asset at the moment. Now, of course, nothing is financial advice, but we'll go and cover a little bit of proper alpha here. So, Same Pump, I really respect. He's very, very good with his takes. And remember, traders will get things right and wrong. Same Pump says, when in doubt, keep those weak hands away and reassure yourself with his chart. Couple more liquidations weeks in the crab market and then up only. Now, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple of months. But what you need to look at is the Bitcoin price after the halvening. So this is just based on past, and of course, history rhymes, it doesn't necessarily repeat, but you can see that, when a halvening happens, which happened April 20th, then you've got this crab market and then you start to get decent pressure. So that's the important thing really to take away. And if you have a look at 2020 as the most recent one, that's probably the best example. This was during COVID as well. And this was a crazy run up. This was a very lucrative bull cycle for many people. And it actually went along in a crab kind of field for quite some time. Another thing to keep in mind is that diminishing returns are expected to happen the further we go into a cycle. So that's why you want to try and find a way to DCA into things that you really like, that you think have good product market fit. And from there, they're going to hopefully do a nice multiple, and you may rotate some funds into smaller altcoins in the future. So diminishing returns are to be expected as the market matures. The market cap increases and more money is needed for the price to go up. However, SBF and Alameda did a lot of price suppression on BTC by selling their clients' stack last cycle. I believe that the price should have been higher without that effect. My magic number is 250k. BTC is much more important this cycle than it was in previous ones thanks to the ETFs. So I think ETFs certainly a massive factor as they manage to bring in people that wouldn't do self-custody or keep it on Binance or anything like that. However, 250k, that seems pretty high. I'm not thinking it's going to be anywhere like that, but either way, there's a decent amount of upside even right now when Bitcoin's at 69k per my system and many other systems beliefs. Now, what is your range for the top? This is very good because once again, history rhymes, it doesn't repeat. But if we have a quick read of this, he's gone and done something that's pretty crazy. All-time low 2015 to all-time high 2017, then all-time high 2017 to all-time low 2018. You can see it's 1,064 days and 364 days. So have a look at this. So it literally just works like magic, which is crazy. Now I think this cycle is going to be a little bit different because this is, in my belief, the first time when there's going to be a global financial crisis, because Bitcoin was created out of the ashes of the 2007, 2008 crisis. And I believe 2026 to 2028, somewhere in that realm, there's going to be just a mass kind of exodus of liquidity from so many different markets, and pricing on real estate and stuff is going to crash as well. That's my belief based on the 18.6 year property cycle. Anyway, so if you have a look at this, you can see literally 1,064 days, bam, then literally 364 days. Now, it may be plus or minus 10 days. I'm not really sure, but just in terms of a general trend, which would mean that we're going to be going, the exact date he hasn't actually made known, but we could essentially work it out, I guess. If we say Monday the 7th of November 2022, we'll just go and Google this. So 7th of November 2022 plus 1,064 days. Let's just see if we can get that worked out. Would need to take off 2 years, of course, because this is going with 2024. So it would be October 7th, 2025. So that's just a general prediction. Now also keep in mind that this was marked as the top November 8th, 2021. There was still gains to be had, other tokens went well, Terra did well. You would have had to have got out, of course, and other things did do well after that point. But just looking, I guess, at the Bitcoin price, which most things tend to follow, that is the cycle. If it plays out anything like this, then that's a cool thing because it gives us some sort of indication of maybe when we could start to take some profits. Maybe we take them a couple months early and we just kind of come out of the system and we just maybe limit order out of the system. Now I mentioned blunts the other day and not many people really loved it, I don't think. Basically, he thought and still thinks that SOL has put in its all-time high for this cycle. Now, I don't agree with this in any way. He's a better trader than I am, but as I said, traders, they make mistakes. Also, traders tend to look quite often at just the price movement at that time, and then it can change. And this happens all the time. They're calling for $30, new data comes along, and all of a sudden, they're like, yep, I'm longing it. It's $100. So if we have a look at this, he's updating this, and this is quite crazy and not looking good, bruv. Not only was the bounce from the 118 lows only in 3 waves, but now the decline in 4 hours is in 5 waves too. So he uses the Elliott waves theory, something that I'm not terribly familiar with, but essentially I see there's so much upside in this cycle, and I'm probably not going to follow his takes publicly unless they start to play out. I'm just putting them on your radar because it's a contrarian viewpoint, and it's maybe just something to consider. The takeaway from this is, although I'm essentially just covering Solana stuff, there are gains to be had in other blockchains, and it's worth jumping into them as well. I want to try and find the bandwidth to be able to cover the other ecosystems, and maybe like once a week just do like a weekly in-depth video on opportunities on other blockchains. Let me know in the comments if you're keen for that. One thing to keep in mind is that trading, like a leverage trading up or leverage trading down right now when there's no clear pattern, that's pretty dangerous. So if we have a look at Cold-Blooded Schiller's approach, SOL in terms of the high time frame chart or simplicity, still cheap, you're targeting all-time highs, and it's from a spot perspective. I just don't think you can go really wrong. If you want to try and short it or long it in these markets, that will quite often get you kind of wiped out. Now onto the actual Solana news. So PayPal and Solana, we mentioned this before, but this was mentioned at Consensus 2024 with CoinDesk. And just so you know, CoinDesk is like a very heavily Ethereum and Bitcoin based journalism kind of department. So this is really good. And I haven't used this, but this does basically put the blockchain to millions more people. Now let's go over yesterday and the UPT launch, just to fill you in. So we have all the details here. You can click on this link. This will take you to the LFG. And then this is the token address. You can buy the token. And at present, just so you're aware, you cannot withdraw the UPT tokens from the app if you've been mining it. If you're a miner using the app, you're not able to. They're just working out the technical issues with that. There's still plenty of hype around this, so just be very, very vigilant that no one's going to be DMing you. There will be scammers out there. They're very, very regular. Also, the Meteora Alpha Vault, if we click on this link, the UI has been fixed now, but if we click on View Details, this essentially says the amount you will receive, and it seemed to be a little bit off. I was told it's been fixed now, so let's have a quick look. Let's just quickly calculate. So if we take 229 and we divide it by 0.0613, that's the number of tokens that we should be getting, which is correct. It was giving us a wrong number because it seemed to be calculating this at the current price, but now it's locked in on that. So claiming is going to start shortly by the time this video is out, and then you'll be able to claim some tokens. You can do whatever you like with them. Some people, of course, will just be taking some profit. The profit from 6 cents to the current price of 9 cents, which means I do think the price will fall, but I legitimately think UpRock's going to do very well this cycle. They've got a lot of work to do, but they've actually already been working on a whole lot of things. In previous cycles, people would come along with dreams. They'd raise a massive amount of money, and then they'll go and ship this dream. Now, if you scroll through everything on Twitter, you'll get a little bit of news. I have been asked, now just to be clear, because I'm not a shiller, they asked me to be the host for their live streams, and the agreement was I would make sure there was, decent tutorials out on their channel so people knew what they were doing. Personally, I am very bullish on them, and I've been buying some UpRock, and I'll be holding my UpRock. I think the token will do very well in the longer term as they ship a whole lot of stuff. That's just my viewpoint. It's not financial advice, of course. The reason I've come to this is because smart people around the place, Dead King Society, Trader Cos, and plenty of others actually, including like really top VCs like Borderless Capital, and also Sean Carey, who is the co-founder or one of the co-founders of Helium. He's also an investor. The only reason why I bring this up is because if you're a miner and you can't withdraw your UPT, the tendency will be to put out a whole lot of FUD. And this is normal FUD. It won't affect me, but it will of course affect people around, and people go and make a decision based on this. And you are welcome to do that. You can do whatever you like, but you really have to look at the fundamentals and the fact that some things are hard. Taking a Web2 wallet and just making it withdraw easily to Web3 without Solana in there, having to do like a swap mechanism of UPT into SOL to create a token account, all that sort of stuff is not actually basic stuff. So they're still working on that. And once the UPT can leave the miner's app, And I'll show you what the app actually looks like, just so you know. So essentially, if you're a miner and you've got UpRock and you can't withdraw it, just check into Discord. When it's live, you will be told. And in the meantime, just use the app. It has a lot of product market fit in this entire world, not just crypto, the entire world. And then remember, if you've been voting with your JUP tokens, and I certainly hope you have been, you can go and claim some UPT. It's not going to be a crazy amount for most people. You can claim till the 2nd of July, so you do have time. And if you need to find out which wallets actually work, you can check in with Z, use the airdrop checker, airdrop.link, sign up, paste in your wallets, and you can check all of your eligible airdrops. Now, in general, big congratulations to Meteora and UpRock for making this happen. But this sniper bot means that there's less kind of crazy price movements, and it means there's less hype on the token because people kind of want to see the token go up and then go down, go up and go down, and all this craziness. But at the end of the day, if you can get a token that you believe in at a lower price and not be messed over by sniper bots, then that is the big brain move. So personally, I think it's really good. Now remember, if you're not using Meteora, there's plenty of things you need to learn. I do have a tutorial on it, but Brada would probably be a good person to follow because people are now starting to actually follow his wallets because he does pretty well. However, sometimes he gets too greedy with a meme coin and his exact kind of system I don't know if he has an exact system really on where to take profits, where to just take the SOL, go and stake it. Stake it with validator.com, of course, but basically sometimes he does well and sometimes he gets a little bit too greedy. But in general, with the actual Meteora farming, he's very good. It's just something I can't say, do this, because it changes live. So you actually need to have a few skills on how to change your liquidity pools. Now, I hope you know what active staking rewards are. This is from JUP, and you'll get these active staking rewards from the different projects such as JUP, When, UpRock, Zeus, Sharky. These will be coming, the first claim occurring in July, and I think it's going to be decent. So Fabiano thinks this is if you are staking and voting, of course. With one JUP, the reward would currently be worth 36 cents. So if you factor that out for an APY, it would be around 80%. Now this will make it to my actionable, but sometimes it's really nice to have lots of different tutorials on how to do things. But even if I make them, I don't actually have that much time to jump into every single dApp all the time. It's just too time consuming. But if you're not making content and if you're just working a job and you're trying to fit in some crypto in between family, I think this is very possible. These protocols have been going for a decent amount of time, as an example, or at least some sort of point system has been going for a decent amount of time. And these ones have not ended. Parcel, Drift, Kamino. Now this is not purely accurate, I don't think. I don't really understand if they've ended or not. But basically, as far as I'm aware, all these are actually still on. However, Kamino, Drift, and Parcel, at least Drift, maybe they don't have any perpetual points, but Kamino still has points and Parcel has points. Essentially, go with a new one of these and use it. If you've got the skills and the time, go with one new dApp every day. You'll need to put in a little bit of liquidity. Sometimes it'll be plus EV, so you'll get some expected value. Sometimes it won't. This is a little update with Greed. Anyone that's gone and staked with Greed, you can submit a proposal to actually unlock your stake account. So all the details are covered here. I'm not going to make a dedicated video or anything like that. I think the number of people that are really upset about this are very, very small. But of course, you can do your own research. It's not too difficult. You submit a proposal, and if it gets passed, you can then unstake your SOL. Now, in general, the actual Solana market share is growing and growing, and this is a great metric that shows it, or a great infographic. So in the first many years, it was just Bitcoin. That was the way it was. And then Ethereum came along and did really, really well. Tron, which is a blockchain that I really do not enjoy at all. I think its probably biggest use case is it gets used for USDC and USDT transfers between centralized exchanges because it's a cheap network. So Tron then got a decent amount of activity. Also in the previous cycle, BNB chain was like the affordable meme coin chain, and that made a lot of sense because Ethereum itself was just so expensive. Then Solana came along and it had this crazy growth. Still, BNB was doing more, and then it retracted, whereas BNB was still doing okay, and Tron, once again, centralized exchanges. And now we're starting to grow and eat other people's market shares. Now, of course, if you included all of the Ethereum sidechains, it would be bigger than Sols, like if it was Optimism, Polygon, Base, all those networks. But all I'm really trying to show you here is that Solana is growing, and I do think it's going to overtake BNB in terms of these active daily users. Just putting this on your radar because I haven't done any research into it, but 21.co, BTC has found its soulmate, and it says that 21BTC is a native Solana token that gives easy native access to Bitcoin on Solana, similar to how Circle's USDC integrates with many chains and no bridges. It's 100% backed by BTC. All reserves are held one-to-one with third-party custodians. So of course there is centralization risk, but if you want to actually dollar cost average into some BTC and you want to do it on-chain, then maybe you want to buy some of this with JUP. Also, the IBC protocol is what integrates Solana to other networks, particularly in the Cosmos ecosystem. They've been building some bridges essentially to connect the IBC Cosmos ecosystem to Solana. And now this solution is live. I'm unsure what to do in terms of maybe a tutorial. I haven't seen really the meta moving to Cosmos yet, so it's probably not worth my time. But once again, just putting it on your radar. Cab from Claynosaurz says he's excited to close the Clayno raise soon and let stuff go absolute bonkers. So they've been raising money to push forward into the thing that they, want to move forward, which is really cool. Now, one thing with this is I actually haven't seen much stuff on Claynosaurz on my timeline, which doesn't necessarily mean anything because your timeline can change. But what I think they've just been doing is just working hard to raise money. And then I imagine their plan is just to really push their IP hard. So congrats to them. I still feel NFTs are a little bit risky, so I can't actually go and buy one of these Claynosaurz or anything like that. But overall, big congrats. Now, I have no idea how much time it's going to take me to actually invest into Pump.fun and all these meme coins to understand it enough to be able to make a video on it and kind of have some proper viewpoints. At present, it's just there's so much stuff out there, so much noise. However, they have partnered with Bubble Maps, and this is really cool tech. So it basically shows you what wallet's feeding what wallet, and you can normally see it in a really cool bubble form. And for some reason, let's just start the whole thing on Pump.fun, which is something I'm not an expert on at all. I'm actually really bad at it at present. They've partnered with Bubble Maps to basically work out what wallets are doing what, so you can see the transfers going. So this should give you a better indication of if you're being screwed over early on by some botters and devs that just know how to play the game. And on the subject of meme coins, I think I mentioned this 2 days ago. So Iggy and her mother Iggy token, she's just been created a custom Mad Lads or Mad Lass. And the mother token is certainly down from its all-time highs. It bottomed and now it's up. Remember, when it comes to all these, normally you're going to be burnt. I also don't think that an icon like this, just of butt cheeks, is going to be really meme worthy. I find that anything that's not an animal doesn't do very well. I'm sure there's some rare examples, but in general, maybe the fully diluted market cap could go to like 50 million or something. Really, the only people that would be super happy would be the people that got in here and started to sell around this amount here. But that's just my view, and I could be completely wrong. I don't really want to cover it anymore unless I start to see it really dominate the timeline. Also, MEV extraction, so sandwiching attacks, it happens on Solana, it happens on all blockchains. There's someone really famous in the Ethereum ecosystem, his .eth handles like Jared from Subway, and he makes millions of dollars a week. This one here, this is one address that has $50 million of the $100 million volume on the mother pool just by making a little bit of money all the time. Exactly how much they've made, I don't know, we could probably work it out. But essentially, all you want to do is, if you're using BonkBot or if you're buying anything decent, just turn on MEV protection so you're not paying a premium. So your actionables, claim your UPT airdrop if you like. Some people are only going to have 10 UPT, so it's like 90 cents. I do think the token has plenty of potential, so you can sell it if you want, but just make sure you claim it before July. Airdrop farm 1 new DApp a day if you've got the bandwidth. Follow Fabiano and just create a list and just start doing one, and then just top up the funds, whatever. Don't go too crazy, but the airdrop potential is still there. It's not as crazy as it was, a few months ago because there's more farmers, but it's still worth doing. As always, DCA Sol on JUP and stake with Validator.com. Not financial advice, but something I'm personally doing. Provide LP on Kamino's Meteora pools and learn to use Meteora's DLMM pools. Meteora will be massive. It's already massive, but the airdrop will be significant. That's my opinion. People that aren't doing it now, they're going to get to a stage where they're going to realize they should have been doing it. And I've just been telling you probably over 100 times by the time the airdrop actually happens. So get amongst it. Let me know your comments below, what you want me to cover, what you like, what you don't like, so I can keep on improving this content. And I'll catch you in the next video.